Very much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for calling this hearing. Our briefing paper, our memorandum says the current modernization program was projected to cost $729 million with a completion date of 2006. The Air Force has failed to meet cost and scheduling goals for this project. GAO estimates that this project is $870 million over budget and 3 years past due. And I remember reading last year a GAO report that said the Pentagon had a total of $295 billion in cost overruns on just its 72 largest weapon systems. And nobody got upset about that. Apparently you're not supposed to criticize the military in any way today. And I think in part it's because the figures are so high that nobody can really comprehend it. People did get upset about the $328,000 photo mission to New York City. Maybe they can understand that a little bit better. But now, according to our memorandum, $1.6 billion has been spent on this program, and yet it's still not completed, and it's $870 million over budget. General McCaslin, is anybody upset about that, or are we just going to gleefully go on and just so that if Chairman Tierney holds a hearing on this a year or two from now, people are just going to come in and tell us it's even more over budget and further behind schedule? I mean, somebody ought to be upset about this.
Well, sir, I won't dispute being upset. I am too, because as a supplier, that's resources that I don't have available to meet my operational customers' needs. So I'm inclined to resonate with you. As the GAO report pointed out, the particular portion of the GPS program that those figures were associated with is the GPS 2F satellite program, the current production program. And the GAO noted that a number of circumstances conspired to aggravate the business performance of that program. One of which was the consolidation of the defense industry. The GPS 2F program was awarded to Rockwell Collins. As the industry consolidated, Rockwell was purchased, its factory operations moved up to, it integrated with the former Hughes Space and Com factory in El Segundo under Boeing ownership. The second dimension that the GAO also noted in her report, was that the government also chose to evolve and modify this program at the same time in response to user demands. We had military and civil requirements that we were trying to meet, additional services for civilian second civil signal, and the beginnings of the evolution of the M-code modernization and the power growth for the military. The third thing that the GAO also noticed in the 2F program was that we awarded the 2F program under a experiment of acquisition streamlining that we now look back and say was not successful. And so the combination of those have added up to cost and schedule growth that the GAO has rightly reflected on. The GAO also noted that for every one of those, we've taken steps to ensure that those circumstances aren't being repeated on the GPS Block 3 program. We believe that the industry consolidation is stable, that the supplier base is healthy. They have a business volume that tells us that we can count on doing business with the same people that we've signed the contract with. Now, admittedly, that's subject to circumstances beyond defense's control, but it appears to be a broadly accepted assumption that the industry is stable. We've put into practice kind of a back-to-basics approach for government oversight, the use of military standards, and we think that that's already showing signs of success. Thirdly, we deliberately laid out...
Let me say this. I see my time's about to run out. You know, it seems to me that federal bureaucrats, and particularly the Pentagon, can rationalize or justify or excuse almost anything. It seems to me that it ought to be awfully difficult to make excuses for an $870 million cost overrun. But I suppose that since it's money that's not coming out of anybody's pocket over there at the Pentagon, people don't really care that much. And I just think it's terrible. I mean, I can't describe words adequate to express my feelings about this, because I have a feeling that if we come in and have this same hearing a year or 2 years from now, we're going to hear that there's even more cost overruns. And if this was happening in the private sector, either Peel would be fired or a company would go out of business. I think it's shameful. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.